Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We are coming to you live here from PAX Unplugged 2018 with all the board game coverage all weekend long. As usual, I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
We're Twist Gaming, and we're joined here with our special guest, Alex from Steve Jackson Games.
Hello there.
Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am fantastic, although my shirt's a little loud, so I don't know if I could hear you too well. So
That's
there's
all
that.
right. It's sort of on the last day of a con, a little bit of extra volume is usually not a problem. As all of our voices go, our clothes should take up the slack. So
I like him. This is good.
Better-
So, Alex, first and foremost, how is PAX Unplugged treating you?
it's been very good. This is actually my first time at the PAX Unplugged. The company was here last year, but this is my first show, and it's always fun when you get a show that is so kind of hyper focused on board and card games and the audiences that play well with them. And in
Yeah.
particular, today has been great. It's Family Day here at
Yeah.
PAX Unplugged, and so suddenly we've had a lot more families, a lot more parents with kids, and so it's great to see that different energy kind of come into the hall after a couple of days of wonderful attendees and lots of being able to talk about games. But today, a little different crowd in, and that just kind of keeps the energy up. It's great.
Absolutely. So I know everyone knows Steve Jackson for the Munchkin line, but you brought some other stuff to show off today, and I'm super excited about it. We had a chance to preview some of these at, I believe, the PhD Speed Gaming Expo.
Okay.
Brief round or two, but not a full game.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking forward to playing some of these and beating Ann here as well, of course.
Well, I figured this. You guys have a very difficult job here, and all weekend long, you've been having people come in, tease you with the game, and then take it away.
Yes.
And so the least we could do is bring a few games that you guys could actually enjoy on camera, play, and as you say, kind of work out this rivalry thing. Going on here, so whatever that's going on. But-
Friendly rivalry.
Yes.
We'll go with
So.
that.
So the first game I think we're going to throw on the table here is a game called Simon's Cat.
Okay.
If you have not, it is a very popular internet thing. If you have not seen any of the animations, they're terribly cute. If you're a cat owner or enjoy people with cats or enjoy watching people get tormented by cats, it's a wonderful sort of thing. So, but Simon's Cat is a simple kind of sort of card playing game, and we have a deck of cards, and this deck of cards has a variety of colored suits in it, and they are not all the same. So our smallest suit here is our green suit that only has 2 cards in it, a 1 and a 2. And the largest suit here, the red one, actually goes from 3 to 12. So a little variety of those, but the cards kind of group in the center there in that 3 to 7 range. They're where the most of those numbers are.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a bell curve going on there.
Indeed.
As soon as I saw those cards, I realized I have played this game before.
Oh,
Oh,
there
really?
we go. All right. So we have
no.
a bro. We have a
I'm at a
ringer here.
disadvantage.
Huh? So just for sake of argument and speed here, we're going to kind of make sure we have a semi-equal set of cards there. And I'm going to give you each of
Awesome.
those.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is whoever's got the blue 3 card is going to play that first in the center of the table. You follow directions very well. Excellent. And then the rest of us, our job is to follow this card with either the same color or the same number.
Yes.
So I could play any 3 or any blue card. So I look at my hand and I go, well, I think I might just go put that 3 right there. And now it's your turn to follow
it's in
either.
order.
It'll be
Okay.
clockwise order. So in this case now, your job is to play either a 3 or a red.
Right. I'm going to play that red.
Okay.
Now, 3 players, we should have a lot of matches. So this is going to go fairly quickly.
Yes.
This should go very quickly for the first part of the game as we play along here, as we all kind of play out the first part of our hand. But this is sort of a hand management game. So you're trying to make sure you keep a good mix of colors and numbers in your hand so that you don't get caught a little later. And you'll see what happens when you get caught. But we have a yellow 8, and there's a yellow 5.
And then how about a red 5 there?
You kind of like those red cards, don't you? Here's a 7.
There's a let's bring a blue 7 back.
How about a 9? Well, still hanging in there.
4. Favorite color here, we got a purple.
Purple 4. Let's try a little orange 4 and see where that goes. Oh,
Orange
coming down there.
3. And an orange 2.
Orange 2. No, let's make it a purple 2.
All right. Well, it's fine.
Purple,
Purple
1.
1.
Purple 5.
Purple 5. Purple 3.
Pink 6 there, red 6.
Yellow 6. Blue 6.
Blue 5.
All right. So I unfortunately have no blue and no 5s.
Oh, no.
So what happens is I have made a mess. I take this entire pile of cards, and it really doesn't matter how many cards are in it, but it is a mess. And I set it over here by me, so I have made a mess. So I look disgusted and play any card I want out of my hand. She has now taken a mess. She'll set that there. It's your turn to play a card. And of course, you can look here and know that I have no blues and no 5s if that is significant to your next card you play.
Green 1.
I'm out of green 1s as well, so we're just going to set that there. We're going to try that yellow 3.
No.
Your turn again.
I don't have that, so
Very
it's a
good.
mess
So
then.
that's a mess for you. Let's see what you got.
Ooh. Oh.
All right. So now you don't have a card.
Right.
So you would not play another card, and the round is over. So the way this round will work is we see that you have one mess in your possession.
Right.
I have 2 messes in my possession, and you have 2
2.
messes. So we, having made the most messes, are the ones who are to blame for all of the messes. So the player who has taken the most, who has created the most messes, or players, each get a blame card. We would take these all up again. We would do that again
Do you
until
want to put that in the
someone-
hand cam?
Sure.
Just a cute little
And
art.
they are, yes,
They're
they are
all
all
unique art
wonderfully
there.
tormented cat owner sort of poses.
Yep, I know those faces.
Yep. And consequently, as soon as one player reaches 3 messes, that person has lost, and all of the other players get to celebrate their win.
All right. So it doesn't matter the size of your mess, just the fact that you made a mess.
Just the fact that you made a mess. So
Okay.
it does keep it interesting, and it certainly means that if someone takes a huge stack of cards, in no way does that put them out for the round because it's just the same as any other mess, and they can possibly certainly come back and have a chance to have the least, or at least not as many messes as other people by the time the round ends.
Gotcha.
And that is Simon's Cat.
Fantastic.
So
Typical play time on that?
it's about 10, 15 minutes. You usually play 1 round per player, or, kind of work. Well, actually, it's, I'm sorry, not round per player because you're playing the 3 messes. So typically, though, someone's going to reach that in about 4 or 5 rounds. So
Okay.
game moves very quickly, 15, 20 minutes tops.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right?
So next up we've got, I love the name of this.
All right. So let's do Super Kitty Bug Slap.
Super Kitty Bug Slap.
Isn't that a great name? Yes. So this game and this one is going to be very active, so you guys should be limbering up your hands a little bit here.
Okay.
It's going to get a little rough.
Gotta crack your
I'm going to
fingers a
check
little.
for rings. I'm going to check for
I
anything
have-
that could be really bad.
Oh.
So just get your slapping ham. You may want to be very careful with that. We have drawn blood with this game before, and so you need to be careful and aware of where your hands or what your hands are doing. But in the meantime, I have these 4 cards here. It's a 2 to 4 player game. I'm going to give you one of those cards. I'm going to
Okay.
give you one of those cards. And if we were to look at that card, you will see that there
so
are
cute. It's-
cats.
Now, the cat does not have terrifying invisible eyes. I promise they're green.
No, it does not.
It is the green screen that's
But there
going on
are
here.
3 very important features on that card. Number 1, there is the color of the cat. In your case, it's orange.
Okay.
The shape of the cat, in this case, that is round. And the bug on top, in case you've got the blue bug.
Okay.
And there's a ladybug, there's purple, and then there is square as our other features, the alternate features of those things.
Okay.
So what we have here is a deck of cards, and in this deck of cards, there are a variety of other of cats that have these features, one or more of these features. So, for example, if we put this out, we can see that this cat is a round cat. It is green and it has a blue bug on it.
Okay.
As long as one of your cards, as long as one of your features on your card matches at least one of the features on the card that is in the center, you will slap it and you will bring it back to your score pile, and that will be a point.
I have to.
So in this case, you can see that your cat matched on both shape
And the
and bug.
bug. So I
So
would
slap
slap
it
the
and
bug,
you'd bring it back.
and
And
I
if
get
you're
it back.
correct, that'll be worth a point.
What if I'm incorrect?
If you're incorrect, we're going to take 2 points away from you at the
And
end of the
slap
game
you
for-
again for being wrong.
Yeah.
That's house rules here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's so. Yeah, you can do that as you will elsewhere. But for today, we're going to keep it kid friendly and not engage in abuse. So, as long as you can both reach about that center of the table there, we're all good. We got some hands out there. Here we go.
Oh, Anne's
Let's
primary
make some
stuff.
magic. And
What are you doing so close?
Anne's got her You gotta look at your kitty, right?
I mean, I already did.
Oh, is this
Yeah.
private information?
No, that's
Oh, it's
public.
public?
Both of you know what it is. Both of you know what you're going after.
Okay. My kitty.
Ah, very good. No one took that because nobody wants that. How about that one? Nobody?
My kitty.
Very good.
What are you doing? You don't even know what's coming out.
That doesn't matter. I'm getting you on edge.
For what?
Oh.
That's yours.
All right.
Wait, so if I slap that and it was his,
Yep.
then what happens?
So if it doesn't match any of the features on your cat, that's
This-
minus 2 points. So
Okay.
that's 2 of those cards would go away.
But there's no way for me to make sure that he doesn't get that card, is what I'm saying.
That's correct.
Okay.
If it matches for him, it goes to him.
All
So
right.
My kitty.
Don't even know what's coming out. Oh, man.
square.
Oh.
Ball play.
Oh, that's mine.
That was both of yous.
No.
No, he's got the blue bag. Yep.
Fingernails.
All right. Just going to speed things up a bit. Here we go.
No, I shouldn't have grabbed that one anyways. No.
Up on a roll.
No. No. No.
You know, I feel like you're throwing him a little closer to Matt.
Oh, did you?
It's just a little bit. I'm trying to get him into the center as best I can.
Stop it.
Very good. All right. I do not know if you did get any wrong, but if you did, set them aside. Otherwise, add up the ones you've got, and let's see who won.
Blue bug, square, 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 purple, square, square, purple, blue bug, square, purple and blue bug, square, square, ack, purple, blue bug, purple, square. I just want to double check that I grabbed all the things that were correct.
No problem.
She's being anal about it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Oh.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22,
You're looking
23,
crestfallen.
24.
19.
Oh, we have a winner.
And congratulations. Super
Well
King
done. All right.
Thank you, sir. Oh, this is
That was
dangerous.
How many players does Super Kitty Bug Slap?
Super Kitty goes to 4. Or actually, you can play with 5 because basically each player would play once where they flip out the cards
Oh,
and the
you're
other
the
people
dealer
do
then,
that.
yeah.
Right. And we've had some people that have talked, have been experimenting with adding multiple decks and having 2 people throwing cards out or being
Oh
able to
my
do a larger group. So all sorts of crazy ways you can kind of modify this. And the great part about all 3 of these games is that they're all a $7 price point.
Mm-hmm.
So, you say you want to play, you want to get a double set, that's still $14 in and
that's
gives
still
you
an
plenty
impulse
to
buy
ask
even
for
together,
people.
yeah.
So that's what's really fun about these is they are great little impulse buy kind of games. You
Yeah,
can just say,
yeah.
it's a quick filler and drop it on a table and go. So all right, so our third game of the line here is a game called Blob Lobber.
Blob Lobber.
And this is the newest of the 3, so this is one that a number of people have have not had a chance to see yet. But we have all sorts of material text that we have generated that involve the words blob and lob and lobbing blobs and gobs of blobs being lobbed and all these sort of things. But
we got a quick preview of this at Gen Con this year.
oh, very good.
Yes, I'm super excited to see this.
Yeah. So, this and the game is by Brett Myers, and it's been a kind of, it was fun around the office, and finally got out the door and into people's hands here. But the object of this game is going to be to try and capture the
The blobs.
blobs that are of any color other than your own. So in
Okay.
this case, we can see we have there are 4 different colors of blobs, and we should just go ahead and pick one of those outside ones there.
Give me
Blue?
that one there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
So I want to show this off too, up close and
Yeah.
personal. So we've got this blob. I got the blue and purple blob here.
Oh,
And Anne's got herself the magenta and yellow. That's yellow.
it's translucent. It's the new promo
Yeah.
pack color.
All right. And we start the board with 4 queens of the 4 different colors,
Okay.
and one in the center, which is just a random one from the deck. So what's going to happen is each turn you are going to draw a card from our deck here, and we'll have some number of blobs on it, more than likely.
So this one.
There's one exception.
That's a green one.
Yeah, that's our invisible one. And for example, we can get one here. Maybe there's the white one.
Yeah. With
That
green.
one's got 1 on it.
There you go.
And on your turn, you will take that. You will hold it blob side up, at least a foot off of the table, and you will hope to flip it in such a way.
Stop!
that
You
get
did not.
That was a. Ooh, wait. How good are you at this game?
Which is why
That
I'm
was-
letting you 2 of you
Okay.
play.
But no, that's good though because he's showing people how it should look when you're playing, and then you're about to see the disaster of when we
The
do it.
2 of you.
Yeah.
So I have done what I am supposed to do, which is to take to have it lad bomb side up onto a blob. And in fact, it is a queen, which means it's worth 2 points instead of 1. But in this case, I would simply take this and add this to my score pile.
Okay.
This would be wonderful. Now, it would be not so good if I were playing your queen, because if I were to have covered this up, for example, that is not my color. And that means that is negative points for me as opposed to positive.
Okay.
So the queens are 2s, and this one, if I were, however, if you were here, if this was your queen,
Yes.
and you blew that one up,
Yes.
that is not your color, and that is not your color, so that is 2 points to you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
If it lands on the blob side, you have simply added more blobs to the middle of the table for other people to blow up.
Okay.
You've lobbed more blobs.
And as long as it covers up so when you throw it, as long as that bomb covers up the card, you've captured that card.
Now, when the game progresses and more blobs are spawned on there, what happens
Indeed.
if the bomb covers up multiple blobs?
Then you get all of them. They are all yours to take. So it is. It's definitely a matter of trying to get as much stuff as you can. Sometimes you're going to get blobs that will be, for example, one of your color and one of somebody else's. If you blow it up, it's 0 points, and it perhaps is better sometimes than letting your opponent get 2 points from that card. So sometimes there is even a time that you might consider blowing up your own blob if it's not going to hurt your score too badly.
Okay.
And we're going to play through all of these bombs. There's one surprise in the deck, and we'll wait to see if when we get to it, I'll tell you about it. But ultimately, we're going to play through that deck, and whoever's got the most blobs of the appropriate colors, most points, is going to win.
So I've got one more question for you.
Yeah.
If we add some more blobs to the table and they cover up the other blobs completely, are we allowed to like peek and see what's there? Or
Nope,
is
you're going to have to remember what's down under there. So I mean, a blob is a blob played, as it were. So there you go.
Oh, I didn't
is there
even
a rule for
consider
who
that.
goes first here?
You asked, so you go first.
Oh,
So go ahead
fantastic.
and grab a card,
Okay, so
A
I gotta
foot
do
from the
blob
table.
side up,
Blob
and
side
we're going to
up.
flip that about a foot or so off the
Okay,
table.
so I've got the blue. So
You do, so
I don't want really that middle
That one's not so good for you. That one is very bad.
Unless
for
I want
you.
to try to take this one off because it would give Anne 2 points.
Indeed.
So I'm going to go here. That's about a foot, right?
Sure.
Probably a little bit more, but
That's good.
So I'm going to
Boom! That is yours. We leave that on the table, and we're going to put that in your score pile right there.
Okay. So the
Here's one
wrist,
for you.
the wrist action is up and flip. Does it matter?
We have seen so many different varieties of things. I've kind of developed this sort of flip like that seems to work for me, but but it has to flip at least once in the air for it to be a valid throw.
Okay. So I'm definitely want to go in that direction. And the bomb does the bomb get removed from the field before I throw?
Nope, that's going to stay right there as a visual distraction. Let's just set that over there. That's going to be on the field to play. There's one for you.
All right.
is not how
so
this game's
let's-
supposed to go.
Let's try this one here. I'm going to go. Oh, okay.
All right, blows up a little bit of empty space over there.
I didn't flip.
But it also didn't get you anything, so we're just going to leave that right where it
Okay.
is.
Okay, so I've got this one's coming up, the green and the magenta one. Let's go for this one over
Let's
here.
not.
Boom!
I'm a professional blob lobber.
There you go.
I gotta get this.
You'll try
I gotta
again.
get this.
All right.
I believe in you, Anne.
All right, so we put some more blobs out on the board.
All right, so I'm gonna see if I can get the double here. This is
All right.
so if I land it like so, I would get both, correct?
Sure. Yeah, if you line it right in between those two.
Okay.
You did blow up that one, which
That's
is not
your
so
own
good.
color.
That is your queen. So that is -2 points in your score pile.
No.
Ah,
All right,
added
couple
more.
more.
Blobs.
More blobs.
Blob side up.
Blob side
Yep,
up.
there
Thank
you go. Boom.
So rude.
That's for you.
At least I
Thank
didn't
you.
blow up my own queen.
Hey,
Another one
hey,
for
hey.
you.
There you
Boom.
go.
You're on the board.
Well, with
Granted, for
0
0
points.
But, you know, it's a start. It's something.
All right, blob side up. This is a blue and a white. I'm gonna see if I can. Oh no! No, so many points right there. Don't do it, Ann. Don't do it. Oh,
Boom.
no. Oh,
That is
two.
both. All of that is for you.
Thank you, good sir.
I'll leave that bomb right where it was. All right.
All right. Oh, this is a triple. See if I could do something here. Oh, that went
All right,
the way
way over there. Yeah,
me-
off
I
the,
gotta zoom
almost
out
out
a
of the
little
field
bit.
of
Now, if
play.
I hit that, I would get 1 point.
That is only one of your color.
Yes.
2 of somebody else's. So that's 2 minus 1 be worth 1 point.
Okay. So I don't really. Oh, I found the tricky one.
Oh, you did. Let's talk
Yes.
about that for a second. That's our poison blob. There's only one of those in the deck, and when this falls, it's going to just take anything it touches off the field. So no scoring for this. This is just going to clear it. So this is your chance to get your own color out of the way of or whatever. But nope, it's just going to land there. So
All
we'll just
right.
take that off out of the game.
All right.
Back to it.
Another triple here, and let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go for this bad boy here.
It's got to be that shirt, Matthew.
They get further and further away. At some point, it'll be
Yeah.
about out in the hallway trying to throw it at the new one like we did last
I
time.
mean, I'm
so.
setting up Ann for a bunch of points.
Yeah,
right
it is.
here.
It's a lot of blobs over there. Oh, more blobs.
Okay. Okay.
Boom!
Oh,
Okay.
All of those
Not
go
what I
into
was
your
going
score
for,
pile.
But okay.
For
oh
you.
the bomb. I need the bomb.
There you go.
Oh, yep. Leave that over there.
Okay.
Little extra explosion.
And heart of the cards. Come on. Yeah. Okay, not the one I
more
was going
you.
for.
Yeah, that's a 0.1 for you. All right, deck's starting to get a little low here.
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
So many blobs.
So many blobs.
No.
All right, I have 2 left, so 1 for you.
That was counting.
And
Okay.
1 for you.
This is the big bucks.
could be
no
it.
I've hit it
whammies
so
here.
many times on the wrong side.
Oh! Oh, my goodness. All right, so let's leave that there. I'm thinking you're getting not these 2,
Yeah.
Right.
but about everything else you touched, so those are all in your score pile.
All right, so that was a bomb over there.
Yep,
so I'll
I'm
leave
going to
that.
leave this over here by me. So go ahead and add up what is in your score pile, your very small score pile, unfortunately.
4, right? Yes.
1, 2, 3,
Three,
4.
four.
5 minus 1 is 4.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got these 2 queens, but that's 2 points each. But then that cancels. 2 of them get canceled out because
Right,
of my
so
queen.
2 of those, so we'll just take those away.
All right.
I
So
see
then
1, 2, 3 other blue ones, so let's just get those 1, 2, 3 points there.
Okay.
So ignore the blue ones and count the other
1,
points you
2,
have.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points.
Very good.
You are a blobber lobber of note.
Thank you so much.
And that is Blob Lobber.
That's
So
a lot of fun.
what's some typical scores that you see from Blob Lobber, and what's like the highest score you've seen from Blob Lobber? I'm just
Oh,
curious.
you can certainly get into the teens. When we've been teaching this, certainly a lot of scores are 1, 2, 3.
Right,
So you
right.
guys were certainly better than that. That was the good news there.
That's good to hear.
But no, it takes a little while to kind of develop a technique. So people that have played it before have played it a lot. So if you were to go into our booth and challenge one of our developers who are in there, they would handily wipe the floor with most people, including myself. But as you get a little more proficient with it, as you kind of get a technique to be able to flip it and get it at least in a location, it still sometimes will be a little bit questionable whether you'll get the blob or the bomb, but at least you can get to the point where you can kind of feel like you're going to get it into a spot. That felt's kind of bouncing into
Yeah.
it. I was kind of sliding off on that bounce. So even the surface you play on is going to make a difference.
Oh,
So.
absolutely.
So those are the three we specifically wanted to show you, and I think we can kind of talk a little bit about some of the things we have upcoming at Steve Jackson Games,
I would
we
love to
have
hear it.
a lot of really interesting projects.
I'm sure you all are super busy there at Steve Jackson. You have
always,
a bunch of stuff coming out all
there's
the time.
so many things we're working on. They've just completed the Girl Genius Kickstarter for Munchkin Steampunk.
Okay.
And for those people that like Phil Foglio art, it is lovely and wonderful as always. And we have a set here this weekend, so we are showing some people some previews of at least what the cards look like.
Okay.
And what that's going to be there. We have had Warhammer 40,000
I saw.
Munchkin out
Munchkin.
all weekend long, and people have been really enjoying that. I did not
Yep.
come from a Warhammer was not my jam when I was growing up, and game wise, I was not a miniatures guy.
But Warhammer Munchkin.
But the people who were are reading these cards and just dissolving in laughter.
Oh, that's good.
And John Kovalik, of course, who illustrates so many of the Munchkin cards, is also a big Warhammer fan. And so
That's awesome.
he just the opportunity to be able to illustrate these cards, you just see the joy in his eyes.
Well,
So
it's funny too when you take something as super serious as Warhammer 40,000 and you take it and you make it jokey with that Munchkin feel to it, the Munchkin backbone or facelift, whatever you want to call it.
Of course.
And it's something you're used to seeing as like a super serious face all the time,
Right.
all of a sudden with a smile on it, which is
Indeed.
it's really got to kind of turn your whole perception upside down, which is why I think you're getting some crazy reactions to it, I'm sure.
Right, and of course there are some meta things in there as well. So, for example, one of the curses, forgot my painted minis, lose a level. There's all of those things that sort of play in that world that the people that you can enjoy from the outside, but the people who are part of that are just gonna love it. So, we actually, if you were to go into our display case that we have in the room, you would see the Warhammer set that we will have out in March. And you will also see the 2 expansions that are already kind of sitting there, the box art for that that'll be coming out after that.
Oh,
so
cool.
Warhammer is coming in March, and it will come like a storm. So we're looking forward to that very much. And then beyond that, the next really big thing that's going to be coming out is Car Wars 6th Edition.
Ooh, nice.
Now, for people that have, it's a very early design in the Steve Jackson world. It's one of those that's been around for a long time, as 6th edition might imply.
Right.
And for so many of those years, there was the romance of the idea of getting in a car that has lots of weapons and shooting other people, and that whole storyline has been great. But in the modern day, there's so many elements of that game that back in the day we had no problem looking up lots of tables and doing our little slide rules and making everything work out for purposes of a miniatures game.
Right.
And nowadays, though, there's so many advances in that design that Steve Jackson wanted to go back and really create a new design for that game that captures. We had a play test of the new edition about a month ago at a convention in Wisconsin, and one of the old school Car Wars players that played in that event said, "This is the game I remember playing. Not the tables and not the rule book and all that sort of thing, but the idea of I was running around on a tabletop shooting at cars with my car, and it was great." And so there's a lot of streamlining that people are going to find in this new edition.
Yeah.
Very
They've
cool.
they've redesigned the dashboard, which is this brilliant little slider dial tile piece that sits in front of you now that controls your speed and your power plant level and all of those sorts of things. So
Okay.
a lot of that information is now very visual in front of you. You don't have to track a lot of that on a separate piece. It's all right there. Even things like car collisions are so simple in the new edition. The plastic minis that are the cars that are going to be coming with the game have sort of a snowplow front. So what happens is when you have, I'm going to use 2 cards here just to show. So during the course of a game, if you have a collision, for example, what will happen is you'll simply move the car up to where it connects with the car. You'll resolve the damage, which is a very simple roll dice, check for results sort of situation. And then on your next move, you'll just physically move that car, pushing it. That's it. That's your resolution. There's no math. There's no figuring out a scale of just take the car,
Purely tactile.
push it. It is, and it makes it really helps keep you keep you engaged in the story that's being told.
Right, right.
So that's really, so that was really exciting to see these old players and myself who had been around a lot of Car Wars, but had never really played it. It was just still, again, not my jam, but really interesting to see how that design has really been moved in as a current modern design.
I mean, Steve Jackson's been around for such a long time, and I feel like recently, you guys and he have gone back to a lot of the very original designs in the original games and said, let's rethink this.
Sure.
I mean, with was it Illumat that you have that's come back out? Illuminati
yes.
that's come back out. There was the fantasy RPG game that he had that he's revamped. Now we've got the Car Wars. It seems like, while you guys have a lot of brand new games and brand new ideas, it must be really nice for you to see all of these more original designs being re-looked, not just tweaked, but rethought about from the ground up.
And I think a lot of that comes down to that when you have a company that has as long a history as Steve Jackson has had, you have these games that people have a lot of fondness for. I mean, Illuminati was one of those games that I played in high school and through college and loved, and still have my mini boxes for.
Right.
I have a very strong connection to that. So when a new edition comes out, there is something warm and fuzzy that kind of, beats in my heart that, I don't know what's warm and fuzzy in my heart, but, there's something that definitely makes me feel, warm and nostalgic about that. But still, it's a game, and it's a very good, fun game to play. And for those games that do have some of the more the more classic elements like Car Wars, bringing engineering some of that out is great. For something like Illuminati, simply updating some of those groups to be more modern. So,
right.
Antifa's now in there.
More relative
as
conspiracy theories and things like that to give people who are just picking it up for the first time that same experience that maybe somebody had 30 years ago. Because if you pick it up now with the conspiracy theories that don't necessarily maybe make sense to somebody who's picking it up for the first time anymore, you're missing that experience. So it's nice that the games are bringing back their original emotional experience to new players.
And even in the case of something like the Fantasy Trip, which really is, it's the first time that Steve Jackson's actually been able to
get his hands back on it.
This game.
Yes.
And in one way, yes, it's a design that is 30 years old and is very classic and has that feel. But the two elements that kind of play into that is, number one, there's a lot of people that are really kind of looking at some of these classic designs and really kind of engaging with them at a different level than what you would with a Pathfinder or some big sprawling, game that has that does all of these things. Whereas Fantasy Trip really does kind of bring you into a much more intimate kind of role-playing setting with a small scenario that will give you a very clear objective and gives you a small set of actions that lets you do the types of things, all the types of things you would do in a role-playing game, but without overly complicating or overly creating a lot of infrastructure to make that happen.
Right.
And in the case of Fantasy Trip in particular, a number of the scenarios that have been done at shows with that convention that Phil Reed and Steve Jackson have taken have really emphasized the fact that that part of the goal of some of the design that's going to happen with the Fantasy Trip is to create very compact single scenario sort of experiences so that it won't, not necessarily looking to bully into this space where you do these massive campaigns forever, but the idea that we had these really interesting small 2-hour scenarios like where you could pick up the game within that time, in addition to playing a really rich episodic role-playing experience.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk to us about today? I know we got to show off these games pretty much in depth. I like hearing about all of the Steve Jackson games that are getting, I don't want to say a facelift, but a retool into the new era. Is there any other, I'm going to say spoilers for things that are coming through the pipeline that you can give to us, Alex?
I think if you continue to watch the Steve Jackson site and watch the watch the information that we put out there, Steve Jackson is one of the long-term companies to be using social media and the internet for connecting directly with fans.
Yeah.
Always very proud of the fact that the Daily Illuminator is the longest running blog on the internet.
Yep.
And certainly that means that the company is very focused on making sure that information is out there for people to be able to find. Certainly those lines that we've talked about, watch for more information out of that. Ogre certainly is going strong now with the miniatures line all out there, with the new edition of that doing well. And even some of those individual classics, the Phil Foglio illustrated Spank just came back out in a small run. And for people that missed that the first time around, that's out there. So watch the website, watch the Daily Illuminator, and we'll have some surprises for you as the year comes out next year.
Fantastic, Alex. Thank you so much for taking the time this evening to come and hang out with us and show us the games. I had a lot of fun beating Matt. We're not going to talk about Blob Lobber.
No, it was fun. It's great to be able to play games with you guys, and hope you had a good show, and look forward to the rest of the evening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alex. We really do
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
and
you, Alex.
thank all of you for watching at home. This is going to conclude our coverage, but we'll be back in just a few moments with our wrap-up session here from PAX Unplugged 2018. Signing off for now, though, I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.